Welcome to For Mannerless Women. I'm your host, Adelle Onyango, and this is a space that is committed to nurturing a new generation of shame-free women who are ready to meet their best selves. In this episode, we're diving into the wonderful world of hormones. And helping us do that is Dr. Amanda Kenya, who is a holistic obstetrician and gynecologist who is particularly passionate about hormones. First of all, thank you for making time to be with us on the show.
Thank you for having me.
And the work that you do. Like, I really appreciate, especially African women in the medical field who are helping other women understand things that impact our health.
Right.
It's so refreshing to see someone who looks like you.
I know. And it's such fulfilling work. And it's actually the best part of my job, education.
Yeah. And breaking
down complex things in a simple way that everyone can understand.
So in this episode, we're focused on hormones, right? Tell me why we never, or like when we talk about our health, we always separate our hormones. Why shouldn't we do that? Like, how do hormones impact our health in general?
Right.
Yeah.
It's so good that you asked that question the way you did, because I always say hormone health is equals to health. There's no health without hormone health. So even outside of women's health, if we're talking about diabetics with insulin, which is a hormone, if we're talking about thyroid illness with the thyroid hormone, so do our hormones have a very, very important part to play in our general health. And like we were talking earlier, it's not just about fertility and getting pregnant or staying pregnant, and it's not just about periods and whether they're regular or not. It's also about your mental health. It's about your bone health. It's about your heart health, because women's hormones affect almost every organ in the body. So it's important for us to know what hormones are, which ones we have, and how they impact us throughout our life stages.
It's so interesting that you bring up hormones outside of fertility and say periods. Because I think even for me, I never used to think about them outside of, it's almost my period. That's why. And even then, it's from a very like general. I'm not really talking.
Or when someone says, "I'm feeling hormonal," like what exactly do you mean?
Right? Yeah. Until there was. And my doctor came on in the first season. There was a situation where I was not sleeping.
Right.
And I've never had sleep issues. And then just 3 days straight, I tried all the white noise on YouTube.
Counting
I counted and I was just there at 3 a.m. still counting. And I was just like, what is happening? And when I finally went to see her and we did all my work, all my tests, she was like, my cortisol levels were so high. She was like, you could have counted
until the
from here
infinity.
To and you would still not sleep. And that was the first time I was like, hormones sleep. You know, like outside of periods and stuff.
Yeah.
So what do you feel women need to be aware of in terms of women's health when it comes to the hormones that impact us outside of periods and fertility?
Yeah.
Which hormones and what do they impact?
Right. So we're going to talk about 3 main hormones today.
Okay.
Estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone.
Okay.
Many women don't know that we actually produce testosterone, and it's actually the most bioactive hormone in our bodies.
Wow.
Right? It has a lot of functions everywhere, even in our bones, our brains.
This is interesting because when you say it, the first thing I think is like men.
Right. But for example, your sex drive or libido is mainly driven by testosterone. And so in later stages of life, when you're having a problem with your libido, we test your testosterone, and if it's low, we can actually replace, right? We can actually give you a testosterone cream to help with that. So as our cycle progresses, if you have a regular cycle, these hormones are being produced in a very specific kind of cyclical way. Like one goes up, one goes down, progesterone is rising. I don't want to get into the nitty-gritties to confuse people, but basically these hormones are supposed to follow a very specific kind of rhythm, like a play or like a piece of music. And if there is any point where there's a disruption. Like if someone's phone starts ringing in the middle of a concert, things start going haywire and you feel it. So most of what happens is women feel these changes, but they don't know what's causing them. And maybe they're not paying that much attention. Maybe they're not journaling about their symptoms.
Yeah.
I'm a huge advocate for journaling about just your symptoms, not necessarily about mental health stuff.
Yeah.
How is your body feeling? When you wake up in the morning, how did you sleep? Did you wake up at 2 to 3 a.m.? Did you wake up several times to pee? Are you still tired after waking up? Are you hungry? Are you nauseated? At the end of the day, as you're going to sleep, what time is it? Are you sleepy? You know, if it's you, it's probably like back then to be like 3 a.m. Yeah.
Yeah.
So all these things, it's important to know what makes you feel what. So estrogen generally makes you feel good. Okay. It's usually highest around as we are going towards ovulation. And that's why when we're ovulating, we're feeling good. We're glowing and we have energy and we want to be out there, right?
Yeah.
And then after that, after you ovulate, the little fluid-filled cyst that has just released an egg, it heals itself up, and now it becomes what we call a corpus luteum.
Okay.
And it starts producing progesterone.
Okay.
Okay. Now, progesterone, if it's not being balanced so well by the amount of estrogen that's in your body, it can do one of two things. Either it's going to make you feel nice and calm, which is why we even give progesterone later in life when you have a bit of anxiety or you can't sleep. It can make you feel nice and calm and sleepy and relaxed.
Okay.
Or if it's a bit too much for the amount of estrogen you're producing, to balance it out, it can make you feel grumpy, moody, fatigued, right? Progesterone is mostly the hormone that is used to maintain a pregnancy. So it's being produced in large amounts during pregnancy. So when you think about a woman in her first trimester, that's progesterone that's doing that sleepiness, the nausea, the moodiness.
Yeah.
It can really put you down. So that's why after ovulation, some women go into that little dip.
Yes.
Right?
Because even when you're talking about the moodiness, yes, I was just like,
You're
yeah,
like, that's
I know that part.
Yeah. So until your period comes and you're like, oh, so that's why I've been feeling terrible, right?
Yes, I can't tell you how many times you kind of like are not too sure. It's so crazy. Like, I've been having my period for so long, but even sometimes when I'm in that zone, I'll be like, why am I just so, what's happening?
Yeah.
And then after a while, my period comes, I'm like,
you're like,
oh,
that's why.
See,
and
that's
like,
it.
thank God. I was about to book an appointment with my therapist, but I'm okay. I'm fine.
The world is good again. Yeah.
So that's your hormones.
Yeah.
And if everything is going okay, you might not notice anything untoward. But for some women, there are these symptoms we're describing can be severe. Like you had Dr. Vundi on.
Yes.
Talking about that. So I don't want to go too much into that. But basically, when they're out of balance, it's not just your period that's going to be affected. It's your mental health as well and how you feel. And later on in life, your heart health, your brain health, and your memory, your skin, your teeth, your lungs, your liver, your digestion, literally everything, your joints.
That's why you say there is no health without
hormone health.
Yeah,
exactly.
Because when you're listing all of these things, I'm just like, I would never think my teeth and hormones would be in the same sentence.
Exactly.
Exactly. So it's so good to like be hearing this. Before we get to some of the phases that women will experience and just to understand what's happening hormonally there, I want to talk about the balancing, because when I'm hearing you talk about this, I'm getting so I'm in awe of our bodies. I'm just like, wow, there's, as you say, the orchestra is, it doesn't matter if I'm busy navigating traffic or whatever, like there's an orchestra trying to like
doing their best.
So I'm just like, wow, my body is like incredible, right? When does the balancing happen and what affects the balancing that's outside of fertility and our periods?
The balancing is happening every single minute.
Wow,
right? Your body is using everything you're giving it to make sure the orchestra is going smoothly. And what you feed it, whether it's through your eyes, your ears, right?
Wow.
Your mouth, the food you're taking in, the scents you're spraying,
Yeah.
the kind of physical exercise you're doing, how much you're sleeping, how you're managing your stress. All these aspects of your lifestyle are influencing your hormone balance and your hormone regulation. I prefer the word regulation, I think.
Yeah.
And if we don't pay attention to what we feed our bodies, our hormone regulation can go off and things start happening, but we're busy. We as women are busy taking care of other people, our children, our partners, work. We're carrying so many loads and you don't realize, suddenly I'm really gaining weight. And you don't know it's just your hormones, right? Or I can't sleep. I can't remember the last time I had 3 hours of sleep at a time. And that's your hormones. Or your relationships are becoming really strained with your friends or your partner, and you kind of feel like you're losing grasp, you're losing control. So many of my patients who had hormone dysregulation, either because of PCOS or perimenopause and menopause, once we get those hormones to be more regulated, they're like, do you know what? I realized that I don't want to be in this relationship anymore with my partner, or I realized that I need to quit my job. That's the part of my life that just needs to be fixed.
So there's like a clarity.
Yes, clarity is a word. Clarity is a word. The other day, one of my lovely patients who's had such a huge transformation said, I suddenly have clarity. And it's like being in perimenopause or having my hormones so low and suppressed for so many years made me not realize that I was just going with the flow. I was like a little empty bottle in a river, just being blown wherever. And now I want to be the main character. I want to take control of my story. And that's just because of hormones. Can you imagine?
Something that you think is so small, but it's actually so big and so impactful, right? And which is why it's so important for women to have this knowledge. Because I feel like when you're in that zone of dysregulation, you know something's off, but you're like, what is it?
What's going on?
Because even like, I don't know if it's the right word to use, but like illness has been presented to us as you feel pain or you have a flu. Like there's something you can see, so you can say, oh, this is
something
the thing.
Tangible.
But here it's like, I feel off, but like I can't show you.
I can't. In fact, the term is I don't feel like myself. Women say that all the time in my office, and I know exactly what they're referring to.
You've touched on perimenopause and menopause. And I feel like there's a lot of fear. Okay, let me not speak for a lot of women. Personally, I'm trying to get all the information. Because I'm like, hey, I'm scared, guys. You guys are, is it another storm we're venturing into? How do I arm myself, right? So what is happening to us hormonally when we talk about perimenopause into menopause?
It's interesting that you now introduce this topic the way you did, because I do feel like a lot of us present information in a way that is fearful and fear-mongering. Like, okay, so perimenopause and menopause, I don't know, I hope you're ready. You know, I try to present it in a way that I hope you're ready, you know, and I can help you be ready.
This is how
we can be ready. Okay, let me start with menopause and then work my way backward. So menopause is defined as 12 months without a period.
Which should be heaven. But
it should, and it is in a way. You can make it heaven. Everything is up to you. So that day when it's reached 12 months without a period, that's menopause. And the day after that, you're postmenopausal for the rest of your life, right? So now up to 15 to 20 years before that time, you're in perimenopause. So you can start experiencing perimenopause symptoms. Which are similar to menopause symptoms. The only difference is you're still having your period or you're not having a period. Right? So that means it can start in your 30s, right? 50 minus 20 is 30. And you can be feeling great. If you're feeling good, there's no issue. Don't let anyone make you do anything too extra just because you're a bit older. But if you start, we want women to know that there are some things they can start feeling. And if they do feel them, there's help. There's no need to suffer in silence. So usually one of the first changes that you'll notice is your period. Your period might start coming closer and closer. or farther and farther apart.
Okay.
It can become heavier, more painful, or lighter. It can become irregular. Okay, so our periods are one of the first signs that something is changing, and that was the first sign for me as well.
I love your word that something's changing, not something's wrong.
Wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a natural thing.
Yes.
Everything we're talking about is natural.
Yeah.
But how we deal with it is how it's going to affect us,
Yeah.
right? Then, aside from your periods, there's your mental, let me say, effects on how your brain works.
Okay.
Memory, word finding. Oh, there's this word I'm looking for. Like just during our conversation earlier, I was trying to tell you I'm looking for a word, and then eventually found it. It happens even outside of perimenopause, but you'll find it happening more and more commonly. It'll start affecting your performance at work.
Yeah.
You start forgetting things around the house, blaming people, and then when you find it, you make it disappear because exactly. And your sleep, like we talked about earlier, your mood, your depression, anxiety, irritability, right? Your kids will start complaining that you're now becoming too strict, or you don't have any tolerance for them whatsoever, right? And in fact, these symptoms that I'm talking about are so many, like there are about 100, and we wouldn't even be able to get into all of them. But let's say, from your head to your toes, almost everything's going to be affected. How much hair you're producing. You start noticing hair thinning. Your ears might become itchy and dry on the inside. You might become more sensitive to certain sounds, like someone chewing or dishes clanging. Right? Like, why are you breathing? Why can't I hear you breathing? Right? It's actually called menopause rage or perimenopause rage.
This is so nice to know, because I do have a friend who she said as she was approaching menopause, she could hear her partner blink.
Right.
She was just like, oh my God, I know we're all blinking. But
like, can you staple your eyelids?
And I was like, blink?
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Even your sense of taste, right? And your sense of smell. Like your favorite perfume is just not doing it for you anymore. It's irritating you. Some foods you used to like, you don't like anymore. Your skin now is becoming really dry, or you're developing adult acne. Your heart, suddenly you have palpitations, like you're hearing some skipped beats, or your breathing is not so good anymore. You have random shortness of breath, or you're developing asthma in perimenopause. Your digestion, suddenly you're not tolerating certain foods, right? Like, oh, these days when I eat a tomato, I get acidity, right? Just random things, wheat, lactose, your joints, joint pains in the fingers, the elbows, the knees, the ankles. Your bladder now can become irritated because your bladder needs estrogen as well. And you're peeing more often during the day. Sometimes at night you wake up twice or thrice to pee. Or you know that if you get pressed, you need to run to the loo immediately, or you leak. Or if you sneeze, you leak. Right?
This is so interesting, because I don't know if there are different personas of patients but I did realize there was a point where I started, and it just came and then it went. I would wake up in the night so many times to pee, and I don't know why. Probably Google. I was just like, is this diabetes?
Right.
That's like, went to my doctor, and she's like, no.
It's not. Relax.
But I think it's important, even as you're breaking this down, because then when you're confronted with anything that's like now changing, you're not panicking. You're almost like, okay, I knew something like this would be
I know
coming.
this could come. Exactly.
I'm ready for this. Do you experience hot flashes in perimenopause?
Yes, you can. Hot flashes, that's during the day, or even cold flashes.
Oh, wow.
And then at night you have the same. You have drenching night sweats. You have to wake up, change your sheets, or you have to sleep on a towel. You have to sleep with a fan. And then your partner, if you have a partner, is cold, so you have to like angle it. It can be quite challenging. But hot flashes can happen as well. And then as we keep going down to the genitals, your vulva and your vagina. So your vulva is everything that's outside, and your vagina is the passage inside. Can become dry, irritated, thin, And so that can cause painful intercourse, and it can cause an increase in urinary tract infections and vaginal infections, because now the tissues there are not as sturdy as they should be. Your lips can become so thin and start being resorbed, and your small labia can disappear as you get older. So it's important for us to know that these things are preventable if caught early, and also reversible. If this is something you're experiencing, there's a way out. So don't suffer alone.
I just love hearing what you're saying because it's also reminding me of Halle Berry her
story.
She's been sharing her story, and I actually thought, that's true. I remember listening to an interview she gave, and she thought menopause would never happen to her. And I actually thought, I think maybe because you see it as an illness. So you're just like, no, I've been like healthy all my life. Exactly. And not just this stage of womanhood, right?
That is inevitable. And that is in fact a blessing, because if you're in menopause, you've lived long enough to be in menopause, right? And that's a gift that not everyone has. And so we should not take it as the beginning of your decline, the beginning of the end, but rather just a new stage, a new chapter that opens up so many other possibilities and opportunities.
And now there's options to make you as comfortable as possible during this process. I remember when she talked, just when you're talking about the vagina, she talked about wanting to enjoy sex. And she finally had this partner, which was like, yes, it's on.
Let's do it.
And then she has, they have sex, and she wakes up, she goes to the bathroom, and all of a sudden she can't move. She's in pain. And she did talk about the dryness and like, I can't remember the medical term, but it was misdiagnosed first as herpes.
Oh, wow.
So you can imagine the conversation
the new
as
partner.
As of, is it you?
Yeah.
Or what has been going on, you know? And then finally doing her own research and realizing this is what I'm feeling and this is what I'm going through, right? And so it's just, maybe we can talk a bit about, like, even as you age, and for women, enjoying sex can be possible.
You can still have a full sexual life. That can be enjoyed. Right? So that's not just for men, you know. Some women, when they come to me and, you know, they tell me about the symptoms they're having, but since I know they might not be aware of all the symptoms, I ask them about a few, like targeted. Okay, so we haven't talked about your sex life. How is your libido? And then some are like, for what? I'm like, what do you mean for what? Is it something you're interested in? Or do you just feel like there's no need for it? Then as you talk more, they're like, okay, you know, it's something I would like, but I thought that now it's gone and there's no possibility. But yet there is.
Or you can imagine if you're feeling pain, you just say, well, it's not for me.
Absolutely
but
not.
We could figure the pain out, right? You mentioned something else, which is post-menopause, which I actually have never even thought about. I just thought, then we get in and we're in.
Menopause is actually just one day. It's that day that marks 12 months without a period. After that, you're post-menopause.
And so is post-menopause, are we still carrying on these symptoms? Or is it just
a lot of the time you'll have symptoms for maybe, we say around 7 to 10 years, but latest studies are showing that even up to 15 years after menopause, you can still be experiencing symptoms like the hot flashes we're talking about and the brain fog. So it's important for everyone to get individualized care, right? You can find a lady in her 70s who has been having these hot flashes and depression and anxiety for years, and she's just waiting for them to stop because she's been told it takes 5 to 10 years, right? But wherever you are in your journey, seek help if you need it.
Because there's something, it would be such a waste, like you're sitting for 10 years in agony and in pain or discomfort, and maybe you could have been helped. Right?
And in the same way, someone who's much younger can still go into menopause. We call that premature premature menopause.
Okay.
Which can happen before the age of 40.
Yeah.
Most of the time, we're not able to find out the specific reason, but there are certain things like surgery or that affected your ovaries, some infections in your childhood, like mumps that attacked the ovaries, chemotherapy, and certain things that affect your ovary function can make you go into menopause sooner, like in your 30s. That's called premature ovarian insufficiency. And so a woman in her 30s can be experiencing hot flashes, night sweats, depression, vaginal dryness, and it won't even cross her mind that this could be perimenopause or menopause.
Because of her age.
Yeah, because of her age and what society knows to be menopause is a condition, right? So it's important for us, for all women and men, to know, just have awareness. So that if you hear or see something, just let someone know, hey, I think, in fact, many of my patients who come, they say someone told them, I think that's perimenopause. Yeah, it's not them just randomly thinking, Amma, is this
Which
perimenopause?
is so wonderful.
Yeah, it is.
Like, we're doing like group work and then
Exactly.
we go find out.
Yeah. Or you just mention something so casually to someone and they're like, I think you should see a gynae.
Yeah. It's funny because I was at a forum recently and we were talking about menopause and it was like ladies who were slightly older than me talking about the hot flashes and they were walking around with fans. And one of them talked about being with their mom and experiencing a hot flash and you know, rushing for the fun. Like she was saying you could, I'm not really experienced it, but she said you can feel it coming. So you quickly like are like, where's that fan? And you know. And then her mom was like, so she was telling her mom, no, these are the effects. I'm like in perimenopause. And her mom was like, what is that? How old are you? Then she said, yeah. That's also when I started having a fan. And we were saying, we always had those aunts who were like fanning furiously at the family function, but we didn't know what that was. And even I guess for them, there was no conversation. Right?
It was like a hushed thing. It was seen as, you know, there was a lot of stigma around it. There still is, to be honest, but maybe much less so. And so they weren't talking about it. They weren't seeking help. It's just something I manage on my own. I know it's natural and this is what we do. This is what we go through as women. But times are changing.
And I want to understand in terms of the 3 hormones we talked about, when we start going to perimenopause, what happening
exactly
with
is happening?
them?
Okay. So remember when I said after 12 months of no period, that's menopause? That's when all the hormones are low, almost zero for some women, extremely low. Estrogen is down, progesterone is down, testosterone is down. Now, during perimenopause, which is up to 20 years before menopause, these hormones are fluctuating. So they're not necessarily low all the time. When they're low is when you're having your symptoms, right? So one day, that's why we don't test hormones to diagnose perimenopause, because I can test your hormones now, all of them, estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, everything's wonderful and fine. 6 hours later, I can test them again and everything is zero. So that's why we use primarily your symptoms to make a diagnosis. So during perimenopause, your hormones are fluctuating in a very irregular and unpredictable manner. The orchestra is drunk, basically, or the conductor. And it's a mess. So your period is all over the place. Your mood, your mental acuity, your heart, your digestion, everything is just not going according to plan or the way it's supposed to. And usually after that fluctuation, then things start going down slowly. And the first thing to go down is progesterone. It starts going down the soonest. And then that's what affects your mood. That irritability, a little bit of depression, the feeling low, unable to sleep, feeling agitated, and then estrogen follows, and that's when we get the hot flashes and a bit of central weight gain or difficulty losing weight. Someone will tell you, I haven't changed my diet, my physical activity is the same, but for some reason I'm just putting on fat in the middle, in my midsection, no matter what I do, no matter which diet I go on. I've tried intermittent, I've tried this, that, I'm working out like crazy. It's your hormones, right? And so in this stage of life, we cannot use the same strategies to maintain our physiques the way we want as we did when we were younger.
Because the reason is different.
Yes, the reason is different. It's not because you're overeating or you're not exercising. It's your hormones. And then testosterone is going down throughout, like steadily. And that's why we have the symptoms when we do and the way we do.
So what can we do to ensure, like, I really want women to have full lives? Because already society, once we cross, I want to say even 30, right?
Yeah.
They start treating us as though our value is now gone.
Yeah.
Which is crazy, which means like our value, we're only worthy for what, 20 years, if at all? Because like the first 10
they're
were,
like,
you know what I mean? They're like, wrap it up. Which is just so terrible.
Yeah.
I'm like, I want all women to live a full life and a comfortable life.
Right.
And that they can be whatever they want to be and not feel like, you know, I can't do this because of this, right? So how do we manage this process as we go into perimenopause and menopause so that it's a bit smoother?
Yeah. So I like to have a holistic, I like to do holistic measures when managing someone's symptoms, or even if they come without symptoms and they just want a checkup.
Yeah.
We are not just going to be prescribing things. We want to make sure that every aspect of your lifestyle is supporting your health goals, right? So let's start with nutrition. You had Michelle here on a recent episode talking about how to eat, how to get in enough protein.
Yes.
So in this stage of life, we really like to support your body with a Mediterranean diet. That's been shown to be a really healthy diet. Has lots of healthy fats. It has whole foods, whole carbs. You know, I like to tell women now in this stage of life, whatever you're eating needs to resemble as much as possible what it looked like when it came out of the ground or from the animal, right? Chapati is great. Actually, at a talk recently, I said, I asked the audience, does chapati look like anything that came from God? And then everyone was like, yes, it looks like manna. I was like, I feel you. And touche.
That's trying to pause it.
That's really trying to hang on.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with eating your favorite foods. But now we're going to try and reel back. And instead of completely removing the things we love, we're going to start adding things we need.
Oh, I like that.
Right?
Yeah.
So have your chapati, have whatever, but add that fiber, add that protein that you need. Leave your sugars for last, you know. Even the order in which you eat food on your plate makes a difference.
Oh, wow.
How high your glucose spikes after a meal, which relates to how high your insulin will spike, depends on the order in which you eat your food. So let's start with our fibers. So that's any veggies on your plate. Then we go to proteins, then the carbs, and last, sugars. And sugars include fruits. And I think that's why they designed the meal to be the way it is. So dessert comes last.
Because it has the sugar.
How often do you go to a restaurant and you're like, you know what, I'll start with dessert.
Bring the ice cream
Don't
first.
do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that. And that's why they have a salad bar first, right? There was reason to that rhyme. And so nutrition is important. And when someone comes to me with symptoms, that's the first thing we're going to discuss. I always ask, what did you have for breakfast? Usually the answer is nothing.
Yeah.
Right?
Because you're like rushing out
You're
of the
rushing
house.
out.
Yeah.
Then we go through all their meals and we realize, first of all, you're not eating enough to lose weight. Your body is hanging on to what you have.
Because it's not
okay, clearly I'm a soldier going to war.
It's tough.
It's tough out here and I need to hold on to everything I have.
Yeah.
So we need to eat more, but eat better, right? And then the next thing we discuss is physical activity.
Okay.
And this can be really daunting for a lot of women, especially in the perimenopause space who have never worked out before. And so I say you don't have to join a gym and start learning how to use all those big, scary machines. You can just start from home. You can get some dumbbells for junior. And I try to make it so easy. I send a document that has links to everything.
Okay.
Yeah. Because you're thinking
so
now, which dumbbells? You know? And that's another bottleneck.
And you might not like make it past.
You'll stop there. So I try to make it easy. Which dumbbells, which YouTube videos you can follow, or if possible, I can send you to, if you have the resources, I can send you to someone to guide you through that process. Even with the nutrition, I can send you to a nutritionist if you feel like you need that extra help. Right? Then after nutrition and physical exercise, The next thing is, and while we're still on the exercise, now in the perimenopause and menopause space, our goal should not be just fat loss, but building muscle. Okay, this muscle is what is going to protect us and protect our bones as we get older. We need to be stronger.
Yes.
You need to be able to get off of a floor on your own without assistance. We need to be able to have a small trip and fall and not break, not have a fracture of your wrist or your hip, right? I'm sure you know of an older lady in your family who's fallen and had a fracture.
And it's a crisis.
Yes, it is. And in fact, if that happens, you have a markedly reduced 5-year survival rate, because now you're bed bound for a long period of time. Your mobility, everything just starts going down. It leads to depression. So we want to protect our muscles and our bones, and that is done through resistance training. So even our physical exercise is now not going for all the runs and the walks in the world. Those are great, incorporate them, but put an emphasis on resistance training, which doesn't necessarily mean lifting heavy weights, but it's how you use the weights that you have. And I think Michelle talked a lot about that in her episode. I really hope many women watch it. Then after that, it's the mental health aspect. We need to manage our stress. If managing stress means removing people,
survival, man.
I mean, this is put yourself first for once. Right?
I always say, like, a good marker is like, think about the most peaceful time in your day. For me, it's like my morning. And so I'm always like, would you be okay with that person being there during this most peaceful
would
time?
they make it better or ruin it?
Would they take away from it? And there's some people I'm like, oh, it would be great because they would do their own thing. I would be doing my own thing. And there's some people I'm like, I just would not survive.
Exactly.
That's for me is my marker. I'm like,
So even if it's a friend, your partner, whatever, obviously your children may not be able to be removed. If it's a job, a lot of women in perimenopause are quitting their jobs or, going into different careers, even going to study something new because they just want to change careers. Like, this is just too toxic for where I am in life now. If you need support with that, like getting a therapist, having a strong support system, it's really important, because you can't also separate mental health. You can be doing everything, eating right, taking all your supplements, working out, but in here it's a complete mess. It does affect everything, right? Like you with your cortisol. So that needs to be managed as well, and we should be able to provide people with resources to help with that. And then the next thing is supplements, right? Targeted supplement use, I like to say, because sometimes women come to me with like a paper bag full. This is what I'm on. What should we add? What should we add?
And then the branding is so attractive. Like, for women, like, you need this, you need this, and you're just like,
this helps with that. So someone is on everything, and yet they are not really knowing what is causing what. These supplements have side effects as well, right? Which one is causing a side effect? Are they doing anything? Are they from a reputable company? Because menopause, as much as the awareness that is being made recently about it is mostly positive, because now women know, but there are also vultures taking advantage. Right? So we try to give you a targeted supplement regimen for yourself if needed. So we check your vitamin D levels. Vitamin D is a pro-hormone, so it's used to make lots of hormones in the body, and our hormones are going haywire during this period of time. So it's good to make sure our vitamin D is up there. And not even the lab ranges that we use in this country. Ask your doctor for the ideal range that they want your vitamin D to be at, right? They should know. Apart from vitamin D, magnesium is great. I think you mentioned it. I really worked for you.
I was that woman who, I didn't have many. I only had one supplement I was taking. It was, no doctor had told me to take it. It was my sister was taking it, and she was like, I don't get hormones anymore. I think it's this supplement. I was like, ooh, okay. So I was on zinc.
Zinc, right.
I didn't need zinc.
Most likely you didn't need zinc.
Like,
you didn't have acne or anything like that.
So my doctor was just like, why? Zinc? And there's that shade, you're like, so My sister said, she's just like,
Right.
tell me more.
Right. And we can't blame you.
Yeah.
You got information from someone you
Yes.
knew.
And I actually didn't know before that doctors needed to be involved when it comes to supplements.
Right.
I genuinely thought it was just like, we have the same. Like,
Right.
there's no, and all supplements are good.
Yeah.
So now you pick which one is it.
Even
you want.
magnesium, for example,
Yeah.
it makes you relaxed and sleepy. But for some people, it has what we call a paradoxical effect. It can give you anxiety, palpitations.
Wow.
So you see, if you're just taking this supplement at any dose,
Yes.
without guidance, you might start to wonder what's going
Yes.
on.
And which one? Because I remember the time I had issues with my digestion as well. So even the magnesium I'm on was not what many women get on.
Yeah,
Right?
You're probably taking an oxide or citrate.
A citrate, right?
Yeah.
And so
That can give you diarrhea.
yeah, so and now I had to really listen to my doctor, and
like-
until certain things were solved, she was like, "Now we can move from this
Yeah.
one." So, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, I don't think we actually understand that.
Yeah.
Because supplements don't have a prescription per
Exactly,
se.
because
we're just like,
they're not regulated.
yes.
Anyone can put anything in a supplement, and then at the bottom there's a disclaimer: this has not been, proven or
Basically,
whatever.
you're on your
You're
own.
on your own. All the best, though.
Yes.
Thanks for purchasing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a bit unfair.
Yeah.
So always try and have some guidance. And now, information is so widely available online. Even to get reputable information is just look.
Yeah.
Look and make sure that the information maybe is coming from a university website or a hospital website. Just make sure it's not just a random blogger giving you this information, so that you can protect yourself and your health, right?
And not what worked for. So I even never really post how much magnesium helped me because I was that person who heard, oh, that worked for you, and then so I'm like, no, I don't want someone to see this and be like, oh, okay, I'm just like, no, please just go to
But
your
I
doctor.
think magnesium is pretty safe.
Yeah.
I think, talk about it. Let women know.
Yeah.
Let them know, and then they can look for more information elsewhere.
Hey, my sleep was corrected so wonderfully.
So glad.
Yeah. Okay,
so
we have
apart from vitamin D and magnesium, there's fish oil, which is really important. Omega-3, or you can just take cod liver oil. It has a perfect balance of vitamin D, vitamin A, and omega-3s, right? And also, again, not omega-3, 6, and 9.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
3 specifically, because 9 can be pro-inflammatory and can actually be making things worse. Because as our hormones are fluctuating during this period of life, and when estrogen specifically is going down after menopause, then that estrogen is anti-inflammatory. So after menopause, you are in a pro-inflammatory state, and you need things that reduce inflammation in the body.
Yeah, because now the estrogen is like completely low.
Yeah.
So if you add things that are going to...
Yeah, you're not helping. If you're taking processed foods, if you're living a sedentary life, the inflammation is just piling on, putting you at risk of more cancers and heart disease and weight gain. I think Vundi mentioned ashwagandha for women to try and calm down. So these are some of the common supplements that I consider, and specific ones for different symptoms that someone is having.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then finally, one of the arms that we use to fight these symptoms in perimenopause is hormone therapy, right? We used to call it hormone replacement therapy.
Yeah.
Now we're calling it menopause hormone therapy. Okay, and the difference is, if a woman in her 30s, for whatever reason, her ovaries are not functioning well, then she's not producing the right amount of hormones for someone her age. So we're going to give her HRT, hormone replacement therapy.
Yeah.
We want her hormone profile to resemble that of someone her age. So we're giving her quite a high dose. That's hormone replacement. We're replacing everything that is missing. MHT is us simply giving you a small dose of hormones to relieve your symptoms. We're not making you, we're trying to make you look fatty, right? That's not necessary. We just want to give you a little bit to help with your symptoms. And if we're really thinking about dosage, the dose of menopause hormone therapy is about a third of the dose of hormones in the birth control pill. Okay, so women come fearful, saying,
I was gonna say,
these hormones, but you are comfortable taking the birth control pill.
Yeah.
So now that you know that the dose is much lower,
Yeah.
and secondly, we're now not using synthetic hormones like the ones in the birth control pill. We're using bioidentical or body identical hormones,
Wow.
which are an exact copy of the hormones that your body is producing. You know, the risk is much lower.
Yeah, because I was going to say, I think back in the day, there was just like, when we only knew it as hormone replacement therapy, it was like, oh, cancer. Oh, and so I mean, as much as I was scared, I didn't really understand it because I was so young.
Yeah.
But I was just like, oh, no.
I don't want,
if any doctor
I don't want
mentions
hormones.
I'm like,
Yeah. But your body's producing hormones.
Yes, right? But it was just like, we didn't understand.
Yeah. Imagine telling a diabetic, insulin hormone is so dangerous for you.
Yes.
Stay away from it, you know, or someone with a thyroid illness.
Yes.
Yeah. It's just hormones.
Yeah.
And how they are used, when they are used, and the types of hormones is what impacts the safety profile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so when we're saying MHT, right? It's patient specific.
Yeah.
Isn't it, right?
It is. So, again, those 3 hormones that we spoke about are the same ones that we're going to be considering to replace or to give you: estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone.
Okay.
So let's start with estrogen. Your estrogen going down is what's responsible for most of the symptoms you're experiencing perimenopause. So we're going to give you estrogen. It can be given in form of a pill, which we tend not to prefer. I'll tell you why. It can also be given through the skin. So that's called transdermal. It's going through your dermis.
Yeah.
That's either through a cream or a gel or a patch. Yeah. And then why we don't give it through a pill as much as we can is because once the hormone passes, it gets digested just like anything else you eat. And then anything that gets digested has to pass through the liver for it to be processed. Now, when estrogen is being processed in the liver produces certain proteins, tiny proteins that increase your blood clotting. So taking an oral estrogen pill can increase your risk of getting a blood clot, and this clot can be in your lungs or in your leg or your arm. That's called deep vein thrombosis, and we want to avoid that. So why don't we just use the safer ones, like the creams, the patches, or the gels? In other countries, they're so lucky to have other formulations like sprays, which you can spray under your tongue, and rings, which can stay in your vaginal canal for up to 3 months at a time. But for us, for now, we have the creams and the gels and the patches, which work really well. Now, if I give you estrogen on its own, and you have a uterus, the lining of your uterus is going to become thick and thick and thick, and it's going to be unregulated, just thickening up, and you're going to start bleeding irregularly. And this thickening will increase your risk of getting cancer of the lining of your uterus. So if you have a uterus, we have to give you the yang of estrogen. Estrogen is the yin, the yang is progesterone. So we give you progesterone to make sure that the lining of your uterus remains thin and that we eliminate the risk of that cancer. And so this progesterone can either be given as an insert in the vagina or a cream, which we tend not to prescribe because it doesn't absorb so well. Most commonly, we give it in form of a pill at night because it makes you relaxed, it makes you sedated and feel, for some women, they feel a bit high. Don't get too excited. Don't get too excited.
I was like, you're talking to me. I was like, tell me more.
Yeah, so we give it at night.
Yeah.
Progesterone makes you feel good, right? Now, if you don't have a uterus, yes, we can also give you progesterone for those other benefits, but we're really not trying to protect the lining of anything. You don't have a uterus. So mostly we're going to focus on giving you estrogen on its own. And that's going to make you feel better with your symptoms. And then if you have low libido and we test your testosterone and it's low, then we can consider prescribing your testosterone cream as well, which is applied daily to help with your sex drive. And it also happens to help with brain fog and energy levels and just makes you feel like a go-getter, better performance at the gym and everything. But of course, everything needs to be regulated to make sure that it continues to be safe.
And so how long do you have this MHT? Like, is it a one-time thing? Do you have
That's
to keep?
a great question.
Yeah.
So first of all, when do we start?
Yeah.
Right? You can start at any time.
Yeah.
But the best time to start is within 10 years of menopause. Remember, menopause, 12 months without a period.
Yes.
So once you go 12 months without a period, if you are planning to start hormone therapy, try and do it within 10 years of that time. That is when it's the safest. So if starting later is still possible, but you get the most benefits on your heart and your brain when you start earlier. And you can also start in perimenopause. Many women do. Okay, so you can start in perimenopause and menopause, preferably within that 10 years. But you can still start after. Everything will just have to be individualized.
Yeah.
And then how long?
Yeah.
So before, when we used to prescribe synthetic hormones, so a synthetic hormone is a hormone that's like a copy of a key, right? Your key that you naturally have opens your door very easily. But you can make a copy.
Yeah.
It'll still open the door. Maybe it'll jam or it'll be a bit finicky.
Yeah.
So that's the synthetic hormones. So they still do the job. That, that's why we used to prescribe them. But they have a bit more severe side effects. And also the safety profile in terms of breast cancer was a little bit higher. Okay. So now that we're using body identical hormones, so back then, we used to say 5 to 10 years on the hormone therapy because we want you to stop these hormones as soon as you can because we're not so sure about the safety.
Yes.
Now, women are on hormones for as long as the benefits outweigh the risks, okay? And for most women, that is for life. The hormones are not just helping with your symptoms, they're also protecting your heart from heart disease, they're protecting you from diabetes, they are reducing your risk of depression and anxiety, they're protecting your bones from becoming weak and fracturing, they're protecting you from dementia and Alzheimer's, and they're making you live longer, studies have shown. So a woman will be like, so why am I stopping this?
Like,
why? Tell me why. Just give me one reason why.
Yeah.
Right? So unless there's something that comes up health-wise, there's really no reason to stop.
This is such good information to know because I feel like what happened is, you know how like bad news travels louder and faster?
Yes.
We remained that side.
We got stuck there in 2002 when the results of that huge study came out, and we ignored the later studies that were dispelling it, right?
Yeah, I didn't even know this because I do remember because my late mom passed away from breast cancer.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So if I hear risk of, I just
Yeah,
say,
you're like, that is not for me. Absolutely not.
So it's good to understand even why, hey, guys, this is safer.
Yeah.
Because like when you break it down, it makes me understand, all right, we've moved so far from back then.
So having a family member who had breast cancer does not exclude you from being able to have hormone therapy. Yeah.
I thought it did.
It doesn't.
And I made that decision myself. Like,
Yeah.
it was just like, hey, I had, so no thank you, right?
Yeah. Which is fair.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a fair fear.
Yeah.
But once you have the information, now you can make a decision.
Yes. And I just love that what you're sharing brings so much hope. Because I feel like even before we used to say the big M, like you're not even saying menopause.
Like you can't even
like
say
this monster that's coming,
honestly.
and it's nothing you can do. It's gonna put you down. Yeah, this gives you hope. Of just
it's
like
hopeful.
Hey, it's a new season.
It is a new season.
Need this help, and I'm still gonna be my best self. Right?
Exactly. Like I tell women, like when you start feeling hot flashes or these changes, don't see it as now everything is downhill. See it as okay. So now. This is my chance to change my lifestyle. Yes. This is my alarm that, we can do better. Yes. And let's do better.
We need more of this.
We need that.
Now reduce that.
It can be even kind of fun, like trying to target your supplements, your nutrition. Okay, what exercise is working for me now? How are my relationships? It's just a new look on life.
Yeah. So we did reach out to our community and we told them that you were coming, and if they had any questions around hormone health, around hormone therapy now, so we removed the R. What questions would they send in for you? And so we got Sally who sent in a question. We're going to take a listen or watch to her question, and then we'll be right back with the answer.
Hi, Adele. Thank you for this opportunity. I have two questions for the doctor. The first one is, does hormone replacement therapy increase the risk of cancer? And does the risk differ based on the type of hormone replacement therapy issued? For example, estrogen only versus combined therapy. Then my second question is, can hormone replacement therapy, especially topical or vaginal estrogen, help improve the symptoms in patients with lichen sclerosus? Thank you.
So thanks, Sally, for your very, very serious two questions.
Very, very brilliant questions.
Yeah.
And question, especially first one that I answer often. So when she asked about cancer, I'm going to assume she's talking about breast cancer because that's the most common cancer we're referring to when we talk about risk of taking menopause hormone therapy. So it's a nuanced conversation. I'm not going to pretend like it's black and white, right? Now, if you don't have a uterus and we're giving you estrogen on its own, you do not have an increased risk of breast cancer, okay? And depending on which estrogen you're using, your risk of breast cancer might actually go down, right?
Interesting.
Now, if you have a uterus, we are also giving you progesterone to protect your uterus. Now, combining the progesterone and the estrogen does increase the risk of breast cancer by a very, very, very small percentage, right? But again, it depends on when we start giving you that hormone, how long we're giving it to you for, which progesterone specifically, and the formulation as well. So if we are using the current guidelines, recommend that we use the body identical progesterone, which is called micronized progesterone, as opposed to the synthetic lookalikes that we used to use before. So even later studies done as early as last year are showing that using this type of progesterone has almost no risk of increasing your risk of, has almost no risk of breast cancer. And so now we know that it's much, much safer than we thought. The risk of breast cancer is higher when you are living a sedentary lifestyle compared to taking menopause hormone therapy. If you're not exercising regularly, your risk of breast cancer is higher than if you are taking menopause hormone therapy. If you're having 2 glasses of wine a day, your risk of breast cancer is higher than if you are taking menopause hormone therapy. So even as we're talking about risk, it's important to put anything into perspective. Leaving your house is a risk of not making it back alive. But we have to do what we have to do. Being able to put things into perspective and know that this is relatively safe, and I think it's what I need. I need to leave the house to go to work to make money. And in fact, now in people who it's a condition like agoraphobia, where you want to stay home because you're scared something will happen to you. So it's pathological to avoid things that are beneficial to you and that are safe because of a risk that you have made bigger than it is.
And even the other, like, putting it into perspective in terms of our lifestyle choices, things that are in our control. Like I can choose to move my body.
To move more.
I can choose to reduce or not take any alcohol altogether. So looking at risk from that perspective then makes you say, okay, maybe I can still go this route of MHT and also reduce these things that are within my control in terms of my lifestyle
That's what we
choices.
call the modifiable risk factors. Some women are born with an increased risk of breast cancer because of the genes they have. They can't do anything about that, but they can work on what they eat and how much they move and their stress management, you know. So there are things we can do. Let's focus on the things that can change, that we can change, rather than on risks that are really small and the fear-based thought process.
Okay.
And she also had a second question about whether estrogen is used to treat lichen sclerosus. So lichen sclerosus, for the audience watching, is a chronic inflammatory condition of the vulva. So your lips down there, they become really dry and itchy and irritated throughout very uncomfortable, and it's usually a very progressive condition, and there's a lot of scarring from the tissues that get inflamed, and then there's the itching. It's really uncomfortable down there. It's like having a yeast infection on steroids, like times 100.
Yeah,
Constantly.
Yeah.
And so she's asking about if estrogen cream down there can help. And that's a good segue into using estrogen cream. We'll get into that. But basically, the mainstay of treatment of lichen sclerosus is steroids. Okay. And that's usually going to be prescribed by a dermatologist. A high dose steroid cream is going to be used to treat you. However, adding an estrogen cream down there can be beneficial just to help with the comfort. So while they're treating you with a steroid, the estrogen cream is helping you to feel better, to be a bit soothed, and for less inflammation to be in that area. So definitely I would include it in a treatment plan for lichen.
Yeah.
That was such a good question.
And what did you want to add on about the estrogen? The cream.
So most of my patients from the age of 35 to 40, if you walk into my office, from 35 and above, if you walk into my office for whatever reason, you're probably walking out with an estrogen cream prescription, right? Even if you didn't come for anything to do with that. So like I said, in perimenopause and menopause, estrogen is all over the place, and a lot of the time it's declining. Now, our genitals are very, very sensitive to estrogen. So the vulva becomes thin and itching, like I told you earlier, and you start getting UTIs, and your intercourse becomes painful. You're not self-lubricating as well as you used to. And so we give you a very, very small dose of estrogen to use vaginally. I even send a video of how to use it.
I love it. Yeah.
And you only have to use it twice a week forever. Because the decline in your tissues down there is inevitable. And when it starts, it's progressive, right? So we want to catch it early, keep you juicy and comfortable down there, and just prevent all these recurrent UTIs and vaginal infections that are coming, and also support your bladder. Yeah.
Do you know what I love about this? Like, I'm listening to you talk, and I'm saying so many women will watch this and acknowledge that nothing is wrong with them. I think that even if we look at, because we're talking about the estrogen cream, right? If you're not arriving in sex the same way you did back in the day.
Or you're not even aroused.
You feel like something's wrong with you. And if you have a partner who is not compassionate, kind, or aware, they will make you feel worse, like you are the problem. And so I feel like now it's just like what you've gifted them is just this clarity of just like, first, it's not only me.
First of all, it's not only you.
Number two, there's nothing wrong. This is
it's completely natural.
Right?
Yeah, but there's help.
There's help and there are interventions. So that I think is like just so important. So to that woman who's watching this right now, what is the next smallest step they can take towards hormone health, like a really good hormone health, right?
So if I'll speak to two different women, right? So if you have access, because we need to also acknowledge that not everyone can just walk into a holistic gynecologist's office and say, check my hormones. Hormone tests are known to be very expensive. Insurance doesn't cover many of them. So if you're not able, I want you to know that everything starts at home. So just start with the nutrition, start with the moving, start with managing what you can, the modifiable lifestyle factors.
The stress.
See if that helps, right? And do your research. And there's so much information out there. Start by watching this, which you're watching it. And then if you can, if you're able, go and see a gynecologist and tell them you want to know how your hormones are doing, right? No one should say, are you getting periods every month? Perfect. You're good. You want to be tested. You want to know how things are looking. Even if there's nothing wrong, it's just an annual check.
Exactly.
You want to see how fast things are declining. Do you have time? You know, we have lots of women who come in their 40s and they're like, now I'm thinking of having a baby. If we had tested that specific hormone, which is your anti-Mullerian hormone, maybe 2 years prior, we would have known that you didn't have much time. And now, unfortunately, it's too late, right? So we have conversations in the gynae clinic. It's not just for treating infection or putting a coil or starting family planning. It's also about planning for the future. So we are able to use lab tests and journaling to sort of have a little peek into your future and make decisions now that will impact you later. So if you can make an appointment to see a holistic gynecologist, I would say do that and tell them you want a thorough hormone check. And make sure when you leave there, you're leaving with advice about nutrition, you're leaving with advice about physical exercise and tangible things you can do to make yourself feel better.
I love this so much because then it's even, I was at a forum where there was a lady talking about, it was a finance forum. But they were talking about you can actually start putting aside money for your MHT now. And I thought, I've not actually thought about that. But if you go to your gyna now, you can actually be like, okay, so I need to start thinking about 4 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, you know? And so that is such a wonderful place to be. I think sometimes we think, I'm going to the gyna when something's gone
wrong.
Terribly left.
Or when I'm pregnant.
Yes, exactly.
But there's so much more to be done in that office.
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed this
Me
conversation.
too.
And I just think like, you know, sometimes we've heard from doctors when they start talking, we're stuck on like, what's that word? How do they pronounce it? Now I just feel so empowered, right? And I'm just like, I know this.
I'm so glad.
And I see the link between fitness, nutrition, lifestyle, and hormone health, right? And just appreciating my body. So thank you for coming and thank you for the work you're doing.
Thank you so much.
We really hope that you enjoyed this episode. In the description, we have all the links in case you want to reach out to Dr. Kenya and you want to know more about scheduling that appointment so you can be like, okay, tell me the status of my hormones. Make sure that you like this episode, share it with all the mannerless or almost mannerless women in your life, and subscribe so that you don't miss out on the next episode. And before I finalize everything, I also have to say a big thank you to Polished Homes, who are one of our partners here at Legally Clueless Africa. They are responsible for this wonderful set that we have. And without the set, we couldn't be having this wonderful conversation. So thank you to Polished Homes.